Good morning all. Can you hear me? Well, I can hear myself, so you must be able to hear me. Quick intro, because we've got a lot to go through and we've not got a huge amount of time. There should be time for one question at the very end. We'll try and keep it to that. I'm Mark Temple. I'm Assistant Director for Service Management at the University of Glasgow. I'm also ITSMF Regional Chair for Scotland. I've worked at the uni for 33 years. Yes, a long time. Done a lot of different jobs. Started my life as a motor mechanic. Worked through various roles in uni, IT desk side support, etc. And now my main focus is enterprise service management, which hopefully some of you have heard of. You may have a different description of it. You may be already doing it. This may be something new to you, but hopefully plenty to go through. I'm here all day and contact details are there should anyone want to follow up afterwards. So I'll get on because, as I say, we do have quite a lot to go through. Quick bit about the University of Glasgow. Founded in 1451. We have, it says there, circa 35,000 students, but I think probably a lot more actually. 10,000 staff, there or thereabouts. We're in the top 100 of the world's universities. We are structured in 4 colleges, and university services are professional services. So that's as much as you need to know on that side of things. What we're going to look at, our journey into enterprise service management, all the lines of business that are now on that journey with us, what brings them together, why this works for us. And I'm not going to say this is going to work everywhere. There's a lot of moving parts to it. There's a lot of politics, there's culture, etc., etc. It works for us. It is working for us. But you can judge for yourself whether it's a journey you want to go on. And looking into what we've learned in IT service management, how that is translatable, transferable into other lines of business. It's not about inflicting an ITSM ticketing tool on every other practice in the business. It's not about inflicting one of our frameworks, which will remain nameless, on other areas of the business. It's taking the bits that work for us and exploring other lines of business where they can work for them too. Okay, and we'll look into what do we get out of this? What stops us, or what has made it difficult to get where we've got? And hopefully a few takeaways at the end for you. So, looking at lines of business, when I first started, I've given similar presentations to this over the while, and it was probably half of that slide at the time of the areas that have come on board with us, who are sharing, and I'll talk more about the common platform, the common ways of working, etc. But you can see that there's quite diverse needs, quite different areas that are, I say, on this journey. Moving into these other areas, I'll be going to 3 pages the next time I give this presentation, but that shows it's working. We're getting more people on the bus. We do lose people at times. People will, they will get a new chief in and the ways of working change, etc. You do lose some people along the way. And in a culture of a university where we're not quite as strict, or strictly, what should I say here, strictly run, or as maybe if I worked in the financial sector. There's a bit more choice, there's a bit more autonomy. So the fact that people are choosing to do this, again, says to me, it's working. So we've got different ways of talking about things. We call things different things. In IT, we've got our incidents and changes and service requests and the likes. In other areas, HR have got cases, they've got inquiries. But there's a similarity to all of these things. And that's what we've focused on. Because certainly universities, I think, historically focus on what makes them different. and even the departments in them focus on what makes them different. And we've managed to turn that around to a greater extent, that people are saying, well, even within, you know, if I'll go and talk about what we did with HR. So we're structured in 4 colleges and university services, so we have 5 main HR teams, and they all did things slightly differently. And it's only you bring them together in a common purpose that they start to say, well, why do you do it different to us when it's the same policy? It should be the same process. And you start getting, you know, the sparking off each other and, hey, wait a minute, we've never questioned it. And that's what a lot of this journey is about, is questioning how you do things, why you do things. And I think that came out in some of the earlier presentations is, you know, I can remember a step in a workflow of that somebody, basically it was coming along and somebody would say, tick. And when we questioned the workflow, they said, well, why is this still here? And they said, well, you know, nobody's told us to take it out. We just tick it off, but that activity doesn't happen anymore. And they said, well, really we should be tidying up as we go rather than just, well, we always tick that box. So looking at, again, the common bonds across all of these areas, you know, if you're managing a caseload, a workload, whatever it is, you need to know who's got the problem, who's made the request, who's dealing with it, where is it in its life cycle. Is this resonating with you? Yes, the sort of things we do. But that's true everywhere else. You know, you're across all of these other areas. They need to, and the problem with a lot of them was they didn't know. You know, if you use a shared mailbox as your case management system, then funnily enough, things go missing. You don't know who's dealing with what. Things get, you know, you've got 3 people working on the same thing, not knowing that 2 other people are out there doing it as well. So this brings structure to areas that didn't necessarily have that structure. So first area, HR, or what do they call themselves these days? People in organisational development. I still haven't got my head around that one, but we'll get there. So they need reporting, they need exception reporting, they need workflow, they need structure, and that's what we brought them. It's something that they didn't have before. There's a lot of manual handling when you don't put things through a system. You know, you're counting emails in a mailbox in a folder that you've called it grievance or something like that. So yeah, we had 50 grievances, we know, because there's 50 emails in that folder. Well, that's not really the way to be doing it. When you can enjoy the benefits that we have, where this is all live data, dashboard driven, you know, it works for you. So again, moving into more HR, you know, they get the granularity now that they didn't have before. They get the structure. They get who doesn't like a nice bit of workflow. You know, we have applied this. Say we have not inflicted it. So they know where something is in the process. They have triggers because a lot of the stuff they do is time dependent. And say they have exception reporting, so they can see, hey, wait a minute, this particular case is going to go, or is getting a bit ripe, let's say, and needs to be dealt with. So visual prompts, email prompts, alerts into Teams, whatever you want, you can do it. But also bringing them along that what works for us from an IT point of view, you know, a self-service portal, somebody's asking about something, before they report it, they get, well, here's some articles that might help you. Well, funnily enough, the same works in HR and other areas as well. So we've plumbed it in, bring them into the same portal, and that's something I'll talk about. We didn't want to start a proliferation of cottage industries, of lots of self-service portals, lots of people doing, you know, spinning up their own instances that people then need to find. University, before we started in this project, the estimates range wildly from We have 65,000 web pages to 165,000 web pages, whatever day of the week you ask somebody. But people had to know who provided a service, how the university was structured. But why should they? Why should a student have to know how the administrative arm of the university is structured to be able to request something or report something or get some information about something? And that's what this brings to the party. You have one place for your people to go where they get a tailored, where possible, view of the world. They get services that are relevant to them. They get knowledge that's relevant to them. So that's the journey we're on. Other areas we brought it into. Campus security. This is the broken windows, alarms going off, doors been left open. There's an incident, there's vandalism, there's crime, there's whatever. It's the exact same for them. At a glance, they can see where are hotspots. So Building X has had, the alarm's gone off 6 times this month, right? Okay, why is that? The same as we do for trend analysis for IT. They can pinpoint areas of crime, they can pinpoint areas of bad practice, they can pinpoint areas that need maintenance. So it's bringing them along with that. And again, just a deeper dive into what what is important to them. Again, all using the same platform. Taking that a step further, and I'll stop the pie charts. You were getting dizzy or sick of them, one of the two. Into accommodation. So I'll give an example that don't repeat outside this room of, if somebody was to happen to put a rubber glove over a smoke detector and have a smoke out the window, it would get written down and it would get noted in this system. It would be managed as a case, what would happen. But on a serious note, it goes more into, this could be welfare checks, this can be just people being locked out of their room, health and safety issues, whatever. But it's the same thing. It works for us, it can work for them. Going on into applying service management, again outside of IT, what that shows there, the one at the back, if somebody in engineering wants a circuit board manufactured, if they want something 3D printed, it gets ordered through the same portal that they would report their printer jammed or ask for access to share X or Y. If a member of staff wants to join the gym, which I probably should at one of these days, but we have a tie-in here with our sports people and also our finance team, because what was happening before, people would be given membership but not always charged for, it didn't come off their salary. And sometimes it would be coming off their salary but they wouldn't have access to the gym. So, bringing again structure to areas and allowing areas that are in 2 different places to come together. That works. Even into our estates, we use the change calendar that we use from an IT point of view. Normally you would raise a change, you've got the calendar showing you, what's proposed, what's been done, what's to be done, etc. We use the same thing for if contractors want access to a roof, if they want the fire suppression switched off, if they need access to high voltage areas, etc., etc. It comes in through the same portal and it's presented in the same calendar view that you and I use for change. It's just making use of the technology that's available to us for other uses. So other benefits we're going to get here, as I say, one portal for your, well, for my case, staff and students, your customers, your staff, however you want to define them. So one place they know to go, we just say gla.ac.uk/help. We don't have to say, if you're looking for estates, go over there. If you're looking for, and in some cases, we may just signpost from here where there is another system in play, but you went to one place to find it. You may get redirected to it, but I say the message is clear. If you want help, go to /help. And we have one platform for our staff to use. So at the moment, we've got about 1,600 staff who are using the system as an analyst, as a support provider across 20 plus lines of business in 300 and something support teams. So that's how it's grown. That's how it's grown. But what you also get, I can't remember whether I made that. I just think my slides are lacking a quote here because everyone else's slides had a quote. I don't know if I made that up or I've nicked it off somebody else, but that's what a knowledge base to me should be. A source of institutional knowledge and collective wisdom. So it's not just for you. Let other people find out for themselves. And going back to what was something earlier, you know, if you spend a week working on something that saves you 10 weeks, in essence, then do it. It's worthwhile. The same with knowledge articles is what I always say to people is, you know, you spend 10 minutes creating it, you know, how much time does it save everyone else and you in the future? But we'll also, I'll talk a wee bit as we go on, if I have time, about how we've widened out the knowledge base, but we also use it through the API that a lot of these knowledge articles will end up on the university's website. So we're creating it in one place, we're curating it in one place, we're using the knowledge management capabilities of the platform, but we're able to surface the knowledge in multiple places. Shift left. You must have all heard of shift left, I'm hoping. If you haven't, please. Now, there are different, I suppose if you were to Google it, you may find different definitions of it. But in short, you know, in a traditional model where our customer is at the far left and our very expensive support providers are at the far right, and we have a plethora of people in between, the longer it takes, the further to the right it goes, the longer it takes in general and the more expensive it becomes, and the more time and money your customer loses because they haven't got the answer to what they want or they haven't got the fix that they require. So we've been big on this, and it feeds into a lot of what we do, but it's also feeding into other areas. You know, from an HR point of view, they're looking to, well, can people get an answer when they want the answer? Or does it really need the head of department to answer that particular question when we can put it in the knowledge base, everybody can get it, or only, you know, it's something that needs a bit of a wrapper around it, that we make it available to the staff who are providing the answers. We don't give it directly to the end user, but the staff who are providing the answers have got the bones of what they need to tell it. So please do have a think about this. And examples, which I'll put some money on the table here of what we've done this for nothing in terms of cost of implementation. In fact, it's less than 100 quid's worth of development time to do this. But it's not been the focus. It's almost been a byproduct of allowing our service desk to do things that traditionally they would have had to escalate to second or third line. And they weren't allowed to do them because they're not allowed to sit at the command line and batter out something in PowerShell, which is quite right, because something could go awry. But where we can give them the tooling to be able to safely get the answer, you know, query Active Directory, Azure, whatever, or execute the action, press the button that switches MFA on for somebody, switches it off, changes their, or clears their methods, adds them to an Active Directory group, whatever it may be, but they can do it safely. The service desk love it. You know, going back to, this is technically giving them more work, but it's higher value work, rather than them logging the ticket for somebody and then chucking it over escalating it into second line, maybe into third line, and then having the person who's got the problem chipping away at them saying, you know, I've still not got an answer to this. whereas they can do it there and then. Happy service desk, very happy end users. So just other, and I'm going to speed up a wee bit because I'm conscious of time. Again, you know, I mean, that's over £150,000 worth of efficiency. I called it savings once when I did this before, and somebody took me to task in the question and answer, so I have labelled it efficiency. Now, we didn't, you know, we haven't got rid of anyone. And I'm glad we haven't, but they are able to do things that they're happier doing, and say other people get the benefits. So, say multi-factor authentication opt-in, we had over 13,000 staff and students opted in. So we'd say we'll go with a softish launch of this, but this is fully automated. They went into the portal, they said, MFA me now, MFA me 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning or Thursday morning, and it happened automagically. No IT staff were harmed in the MFAing of any of these staff and students. And say folk got it when they wanted it. So again, something to think about automation, what you're doing with that. Going on quickly about the knowledge side of things, we did a lot of what that thing on the right-hand side, if you don't know what it is a signpost. So, you know, we did a lot of, student would come to one desk, can you help me set up Wi-Fi? Oh, no, it's those IT people up the road, go and see them. And they would be up at the IT people and they'd say, well, while I'm here, could you have an idea how I enrol for my classes? No, it's those folk down the hill, you need to go and see them. Rotten student experience. So, using a collective knowledge base, we've agreed a baseline in other services that we're not going to dig the hole too deep. We know when to say, look, I am not the subject matter expert here, but I can help you to a point, I can help you help yourself, and if we do need to escalate it, we're escalating it on the one platform. So you can go to, we can hand off to the other people, and they're not starting from the beginning again. So this is what we call reach out, a number of our front-facing teams. Other benefits for you, staff move about. You know, the university, I said, has 10,000+ staff. They move about from time to time. Quite a lot of them, I mean, I've been here 33 years. Will I still be, you know, well, is this my last job? Who knows? But people move from department to department. But they don't have to completely relearn a new system every time they move from one department to another department. It may, you know, the terminology will be slightly different. Again, going back to our HR being cases and inquiries, IT being incidents and requests and whatever, and complaints. I mean, even what we call the customer, you know, in complaints, they're the complainant. In data protection, where we use it, they're the subject. Etc., etc. You know, so it's the same field but different language to suit the audience who are using the system. And it becomes trusted. And people, when they move, want to take it with them, or want to take you know, if they're going somewhere that's a department that is still living in shared mailboxes and doing things the old way, they want to influence that and get them on the bus. From a selfish point of view, you develop against one platform, you license one platform. Concurrent licensing for us is a joy, because I say we have all these different lines of business. We don't have folk going off making business going, can I get 10 licenses? Oh, they're using one of my licenses. The last time I tried to log in, you know, HR were using my license in finance, couldn't get in, all this nonsense. No. So I'd say that works beautifully for us. We develop against one platform, we license one platform, we train against one platform. So again, we're not, you know, it cuts down the bureaucracy, it cuts down cost, it cuts down time. Nearly getting to the end, we will have time for questions. Damn, I've done that, I've got that wrong. So yeah, other things that it brings to the party is you can have your local user group. You bring together people to share experience. They also have a collective boot to put up my backside every so often if they're not happy with the service that they're getting. But you know, it is very, on the whole, very positive. They say they learn from each other, they share experiences. They, you know, we've started using the system for them. Oh, right, do you know what? That would work for something else. Because again, going back to the common bond, you know, we've built an HR case management system, we've built a complaints handling system, a student conduct case management system, data protection, freedom of information, HR, finance, IT, campus security, accommodation. You know, all of these people have pretty much a dedicated system, and they say they come together, they share, and what we'll go into next, you know, they share the reporting and stuff as well. So other benefits for you from coming together, focusing on what makes, you know, what's similar, what's common, rather than why are we different to the people across the corridor. Other things to look at, shared CSAT. You know, we have a common way of recording across all of the areas. We hacked up was it ServQual, I think is the standard, the framework, whatever. So we hacked it up a wee bit to fit our purposes, but it works across multiple areas. So we're able to measure against each other. You know, when it says bad here, it means the same as bad over there. When it's, you know, it's all were we quick enough? Did the person know what they were talking about? You know, did the fix last more than 10 minutes before the sticky tape come off? You know, whatever it is that you're measuring. So I'd say that all comes together nicely. It's a common dashboarding as well. I mean, this just works. I used to spend half a morning a month bringing together everybody's CSAT, and I was always a month behind, at least. So you've got somebody 4 weeks ago who was kicking up hell about something that you're only really finding out about it a month later. So you know, the ship has sailed. Whereas now we've got it real time. If somebody's kicking off, we know right away, and we can go and address it. Last part I said was we weren't going to be any more pie charts, so my apologies. So really just to end up here, barriers, yes, it's not all plain sailing. If you have an edict from on high that says thou must do it, then good luck to you. I didn't have that luxury, so it was very much a lead by example. Prove that it works in one area, find another area that's, you know, deal with volunteers rather than conscripts was where we went. But a lot of it is, you know, there's a bit of peer pressure now, I would say, is some areas where people are not towing the line, they are being lent on by their colleagues to toe the line. Yes, you will have existing systems, and that's where you integrate, you use the APIs, you drive out automation that way, and we're doing a lot of that. And again, you will have legacy practices. The university's, you know, was founded in 1451. I'm not saying some of our practices are as old as that, but you know, there's room for improvement in some areas. And you know, it takes time. It takes time. So, some quick takeaways for you. How do you get started? You know, in any area, from a knowledge base point of view, what are the top 5, 10, 15, 20 things people ask you every other day of the week? Get that in a knowledge base, regardless of whether you work in HR, finance, IT, whatever. Get that out so that people can help themselves when they want to help themselves. Again, into request offerings, what are the things people ask you for? What are the things you get half the information that you need to be able to go and do something? Get them into dynamic forms. Get them into structured request offerings. And that wasn't a product dynamic I was advertising there. There's nothing to do with that. And again, into incidents. What are the things people are reporting to you? And that's the same across all of the areas. So start small with it. That's what we did, and we've grown. You know, we've been doing it 4 or 5 years now, and it's, you know, the numbers speak for themselves. There is a lot of people on board with it. It drives a lot of productivity in the university, and it keeps me awake at nights at times. But we're in a much more structured and better place than we were. So, 2 questions we might get, but I'll wrap up at that. Thank you.
Now the biggest change or disruption in technology happens, yeah? So what University of Glasgow plan to do in this context, or what is your personal opinion?
On which disruption?
The biggest disruption in technology happens now, yeah? So just what is your personal opinion about this, or what University of Glasgow plan to do just now?
Well,
what people talk?
We're doing very much, more of this, what we talked about earlier. I would say our focus is on automation rather than AI at present, is a definite. Is automation and integration across systems. Is stopping people having to dip out of one system into another to get information. Again, growing more of this. This is a job for life. I don't think it will ever be finished. But that's where we're at, is building this. This is my focus. I can't speak for the University of Glasgow of what of everything that we're going to do in the next 6 months or whatever. But from this point of view, it's very much enterprise service management is here to stay. We've proved it works. We need to expand it. We need to do more of it. But as I say, off the back of that, I would say it's automation in places, both from a labour saving from our staff point of view, but also in a better service for our end users. That we're not better at logging tickets, we're better at delivering things to people when they need them, and cutting out the bureaucracy that goes with it. So I think that's my answer. That's all you're getting.
Hi, thank you very much. David John, so I'm Head of Service Management at 77. One of the focus areas we're focusing in on is how to improve and measure user experience, not just kind of your traditional SLA type thing. Do you find that the sort of traditional CSAT surveys, traditionally a bit reactive, are the most effective way of gauging the user sentiment, happiness, across all those different services that you're kind of incorporating in?
It's a bit of a blunt tool. Now, go back to your ITIL, what was it? Observe directly was one of the mantras, is another side of it, that you need to take the temperature of the organisation in many ways. CSAT on its own is not enough. Now, digital experience is becoming a much bigger thing, whether that's your end users actually, seeing how happy they are with something, or whether you're measuring yourself. We know that this person's PC takes 6 minutes to boot up in the morning. Well, no wonder they're in a foul mood, when they start their day. And what are we going to do about that? We know that somebody's machine is blue screened 3 times in the last week. Why don't we go and do something about it without them having to report it to us? So, I said, many ways to measure the same thing. CSAT, we get high 90s happy. When we started this, I was very dubious. We're going to get the I am seriously miffed with you guys, or we're going to get the people who are just naturally happy themselves. So, that's how it came to pass. We do get the odd person who's not particularly happy, but we get the people mostly at the other end. So, long story short, and I'm conscious of time, is CSAT is not enough on its own. You need to be measuring in other ways. You need to be taking the temperature of people in other ways. Now, sometimes it is post ticket, but other times it's on particular initiatives. So And I'm getting growled at from the back here.
But only in a very nice way. We heard the applause from next door, so I know there are more questions in the room, wait for it. I know there are more questions in the room. Can I ask you to grab Mark at lunchtime or something of the kind? If he's moving about and ask the questions in person, can you thank him one more time, please? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.